Welcome to This Explainer. Let's get straight into it. The landscape of software engineering in 2026 has completely shifted. And honestly, it happened faster than anyone really anticipated. Today, we're going to take a hard look at what it actually takes to survive and thrive in this totally new environment.
We're starting with a massive reality check. In early 2026, the head of Claude Code at Anthropic revealed that he literally hasn't written a single line of manual code in over 2 months. Think about that for a second. Across their entire company, up to 90% of their code is now fully AI generated. We are talking about one of the most advanced tech companies on the planet effectively abandoning manual coding.
But this explosion in productivity, it's got a really dark counterpart. This AI productivity boom has caused entry-level developer job postings to plummet by up to 67%. Since ChatGPT launched, employment for young engineers, specifically those right out of school, aged 22 to 25, has taken a massive, massive hit. The entry gate to the industry is rapidly closing.
So how do we actually navigate this? To survive this market, we need to understand the fundamental paradigm shifts that are redefining the industry. We're going to cover 1. The AI coding reality. 2. From producer to supervisor. 3. The agent experience era. 4. The innovation and talent crisis. And finally, 5. The new engineering bottlenecks.
Section 1. The AI coding reality. The end of manual coding. Here is the absolute bottom line you need to take away from the data. AI is no longer a future threat. It is the current standard. If you aren't using AI tools to generate the vast majority of your code right now, you are profoundly less productive and you are falling completely behind your peers. It's not just a cool productivity hack anymore, right? It's the baseline requirement just to do the job.
Section 2. From producer to supervisor. The junior developer catch-22. We are witnessing the absolute death of the traditional code producer. The developer sitting at a keyboard typing out massive blocks of code all day manually. That era is over. Instead, we're transitioning into supervisors. The real skill isn't writing the code anymore. The real skill is generating that code through AI and then having the deep, hard-earned experience to judge if that AI output is actually maintainable, secure, and built for the future.
But that brings up a really tough question. How in the world do you develop that essential judgment? How do you learn what good code looks like if you aren't actually writing it yourself day in and day out? This single question highlights a massive, almost impossible dilemma for the next generation of engineers.
It's just a brutal catch-22. Think about it like a closed loop. Step 1, to get the experience required to properly review AI code, you need manual practice. But step 2, if you try to code manually on the job, you're way too slow compared to everyone else using AI. Which leads to step 3, you are effectively denied the hands-on experience required to build those crucial judgment skills that companies are demanding. It is actively blocking junior developers from leveling up.
Section 3. The agent experience era. Designing for AI.
Let's move over to the product side for a minute. For decades, we have absolutely obsessed over UX, user experience. Well, say goodbye to just UX and say hello to AX, agent experience. We're seeing an entirely new user demographic emerge, and spoiler alert, they aren't human. AX is the design discipline of building interfaces specifically for AI agents to consume and operate. The contrast here is super stark. Instead of a human miserably clicking through endless project management dashboards or manually organizing Google Drive files, developers are now tasked with building backend connections. Using tools like model context protocols and adapters for systems like OpenClaw, we are empowering AI agents to securely communicate with the software and just do the busy work for us. AX development is rapidly becoming one of the most vital emerging roles in the entire industry. Section 4. The innovation and talent crisis, the rise of AI slop.
We are silently bleeding engineering talent. Because companies demand immediate senior-level usefulness, they're only hiring senior engineers who already know how to supervise AI. Consequently, junior devs just aren't getting hired or trained. If you're a junior dev right now, this is exactly why the market feels so incredibly hostile. But here's the math. Senior devs eventually retire or move on. The result, we are creating a massive vacuum of engineering talent for the future because the training ground for their replacements has literally been eliminated.
Now combine that missing human talent with the nature of large language models. LLMs predict text based on past training data, right? They don't invent novel, groundbreaking frameworks. They just regurgitate what already exists. And frankly, a lot of historical code is terrible.
As a result, the market is suddenly getting flooded with recycled, bug-ridden AI slop. This massive push of rapid, unchecked AI generation is causing an alarming daily rise in exploits, hacks, and completely unmaintainable software architectures. Section 5. The new engineering bottlenecks. What actually matters now? The bottlenecks of software development have completely flipped. Previously, writing code was the expensive bottleneck. Now, code is cheap and abundant. Skills like writing basic code, routine front-end development, churning out random features, those are heavily automated. What companies actually desperately need are the scarce skills: system design, operational excellence, observability, and the highly complex, totally stressful task of debugging massive systems in production. The market has shifted because AI has absolutely no problem handling the sheer volume of code generation. But the human demand? That is entirely localized in higher-level system architecture and the irreplaceable judgment required for major production trade-offs. The job of a software engineer hasn't disappeared, its location on the value chain has just moved all the way to the top. The reality of 2026 is that refusing to adapt pretty much guarantees you'll be left behind. The industry absolutely doesn't need more typists. It needs architects and supervisors. So I want to leave you with this final thought. In a world completely flooded with cheap, instantaneous AI code, how will you evolve to build the priceless judgment the industry so desperately needs? Thank you for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.